spot in here.
Hi, SpongeBob fans! Get comfortable and ready because here we have a new dose of SpongeBob funny moments and some animation errors. Number 1, survival of the idiots. Have you ever thought about how dangerous it is to get trapped with an animal during her hibernation? Well, this episode might be from the second season of the show, but it's a very problematic situation for both Patrick and SpongeBob to face. In this Season 2 adventure, Patrick and SpongeBob go to pay their friend Sandy a little visit, much like usual, but things don't go as planned for our two protagonists. As soon as they reach Sandy's house, her tree dome has a very strange metal covering it. What could be the reason that happens? Well, it seems like Sandy, much like other mammals, is entering her hibernation process, and she must be left undisturbed so she can rest and complete this very important period of the year. To announce this, she prepares a cool videotape explaining how hibernation works, and even though Patrick and SpongeBob watch it, they don't pay much attention, and they end up getting trapped in Sandy's tree dome. Will they survive this adventure? Watch this episode so you can find out. Now, let's watch some cool moments from the episode. Sandy is for sure a terrible animal if you disturb her during her hibernation period. In this scene, we see that SpongeBob and Patrick are directly facing Sandy's rage after they wake her up by making too much noise while playing a game simulating that they're cowboys. Even if playing the cowboy game sounds funny, poor Sandy needed her rest and she attacked her former friends. First, we could see that, unlike many other times, Patrick's teeth are sharp and they have a razor-esque shape. But this is not the only error that we've found here, because if you look at SpongeBob's feet, they disappear while they're hiding on the sand. Poor SpongeBob, now he doesn't have a way to escape from Sandy.
Keep the tree warm, Sandy. We're on our way to your house. Sandy?
And this one is for experts only because it's a really hard animation error to find. Right at the beginning of the episode, we see that SpongeBob and Patrick are happily running towards Sandy's tree dome. But it's between all this happiness where we found a small but funny animation error. There's one small frame in which SpongeBob's mouth is displaced. This is very fast and might even be hard for some trained eyes to find, but we recommend you to rewatch this scene a couple of times so you're also able to find it. Number 2, the camping episode. What's better than enjoying a great camping night with your friends? Camping is a fantastic thing to enjoy and to do with your besties, and this episode gives us the best example of that. In this adventure, Patrick and SpongeBob decide to go camping, but Squidward gets really annoyed after seeing that they're camping just 1 foot away from SpongeBob's house. This results in a very funny adventure in which our favorite trio end up doing what Squidward calls true camping. But do you know what happens when you face all the things that lure you in the wilderness? Maybe some sea bears, some aquatic monsters, and many other mysteries that you'll discover if you watch this fantastic episode. Now let's move on to some animation errors.
And 2 whole days with no... What the...
Squidward was very happy thinking that he would have Patrick and SpongeBob away, thinking that they were going to camp away from home, until he found out that they were not going very far. It's in this scene in which Squidward was trying to enjoy a little peaceful time reading a book where he found out that Patrick and SpongeBob were camping right outside his house. This moment also came with some animation errors, because if you look at Squidward while he's watching SpongeBob and Patrick from his bed, you'll notice that he misses his trademark wrinkles for a second. Relax yourself, Squidward.
It's nice to unwind with a nice, relaxing campfire song. I call this one the Campfire Song Song. Let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song.
We always knew that SpongeBob was a very versatile sponge and that he has lots of talent to do many things. In this scene, he's playing the guitar and performing some super cool campfire songs. But like we always say, everything that shines is not always going to be gold, and we found a very cool animation error here. If you look closely at SpongeBob's arms while he's playing the instrument, there's a small frame in which his left arm disconnects from his body. If sleeping away from home wasn't enough, now SpongeBob is losing his arms. Number 3, a day without tears. Would you be able to spend a whole day without crying? Squidward dared SpongeBob to do just that and even counted every single time that our protagonist cried before. In this episode, Squidward was super annoyed at SpongeBob after he spent the whole day crying, counting 43 times before 2 p.m. After this, Squidward pulled up a video with every single time that he recorded SpongeBob crying to teach SpongeBob a big lesson. But after seeing this, let's watch some animation errors.
It's a quick montage of flashbacks I've edited together that shows the hundreds of tears you have cried over the years.
As we told you before, Squidward made a video about all the times he saw SpongeBob crying, and here you have it. What he didn't know is that the video brought some funny moments with itself. Let's take a look. In that compilation, SpongeBob is seen crying in many parts of Bikini Bottom, but the strange thing is that he's wearing his Krusty Krab employee hat in all of them. We know that SpongeBob is obsessed with his work, but he has to catch a break.
That SpongeBob is such a crybaby.
Well, what a great example of SpongeBob being a crybaby we have here. In this scene, we see that SpongeBob is crying to a song, but the funny thing is that even though we see him crying downstairs in the kitchen, when the outside of his house is shown some frames after, we see that the tears are falling from the upper floor. What a strange moment. Number 4, Rockabye Bivalve. Have you ever thought about SpongeBob and Patrick fostering a child? Well, this episode brought that reality to life. In this weird adventure, our protagonists take care of a baby scallop, making them a one-episode-only pair of parents. This led them to have some relationship issues, seeing how hard it is to help a child grow, and many other weird scenarios that you'll miss unless you watch this episode. Now let's check what we've found.
By the way, you forgot your briefcase.
Oh, so this is the thanks I get for working overtime.
Raising someone is for sure a very hard process, but let's look at what happened to SpongeBob here because, oh, is this funny. In this scene, we see that SpongeBob is holding a very cute briefcase, but isn't something missing here? Well, for those of you who have great eyes, you might have noticed that SpongeBob's left arm is missing while holding it. Poor SpongeBob, being a parent is so tough.
Phew, another tough day.
Oh, Patrick, I'm so glad you're home after working all day.
Seems like SpongeBob had a new tie waiting for this episode. Or that's what the animators wanted us to think. In this scene, after the card Tomorrow is shown, we see that instead of his trademark red tie, SpongeBob is wearing a black one. This is strange because right at the next scene, the tie comes back to being red again. What a cool detail to find. Number 5, Ghost Host. Time to finish the video with a very scary episode. The Flying Dutchman is probably one of the funniest characters in SpongeBob's secondary cast, and this episode we wanted to regain his dignity with our main protagonist's help. Even if SpongeBob and the Dutchman's friendship might sound weird at first, this episode leaves us with super cringy monsters, very funny moments, and some awesome interactions between our main protagonist and Bikini Bottom's most famous ghost. But we're not going to spoil you anything, so let's jump into some animation errors.
How was that?
Even better the third time.
Oh no! No, 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 no!
For sure, such a terrifying episode has to have some weird moments, right? In this scene, we see that SpongeBob is clearly angry at the Dutchman after seeing all the partying and mess that the ghost has transformed SpongeBob's house into. Well, it's right there where, if you take a look at SpongeBob's belt, you'll notice that one part is from a brownish color instead of black like the rest of the belt. Also, in this scene, there's a brief moment in which the part between SpongeBob's eyes is white instead of the usual and normal yellow. Too many remarkable things here.
Mother? Why haven't you called your mother? Squidums loves his mama.
Talking about weird and scary moments, Squidward had a really bad time with this poltergeist on the scene. One of the Dutchman's mischievous plans was to scare Squidward by using a ghost of his grandma. In this scene, we see that Squidward is clearly scared and his teeth turn from white to a yellowish tone. He has to be pretty scared to experience that kind of change. So there you have it, SpongeBob fans. There are some goofs and animation errors that you can find in your favorite show. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel so we can provide you with even funnier SpongeBob content. Until the next time, goodbye.